What's going on, gamers? And probably like the rest of you, I've been doing the Division thing, and I've got some thoughts about it, some good, some bad, some ugly. But before I get rolling, I have a few shoutouts to give. Now I want to give a special shout out to Caleb Booker, Phage Ling, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Charles Williams, and Pete TT for also following me on Twitter. Now first up, the good. This game is very pretty. While running around the world, I kept wanting to compare it to Watch Dogs, which also comes from Ubisoft, but it looks a bit better graphically to me than that. I would put it more on par with, say, Infamous Second Son as far as the environments go. That's not so much with art style because they are pretty different there, just with the amount of details, especially with the lighting. When the Snowdrop engine is, well, dropping snow, ambient lighting will actually tint the falling snow. This is really cool if you're buying some Christmas lights or a cop car. Snow will collect on your character, and you do leave footprints in certain spots. Now most everything in the environment you can interact with to some degree. Glass breaks, tires pop, objects move, and some of them take damage from bullets. Some of the buildings have interior spaces, and that's understandable as to why. When you just walk down the street and you see how far the draw distance is and all the lighting sources and reflections, even reflections coming from melted snow, it's a world that really draws you in. Add it all up and it's really using some horsepower. You can actually go into the options menu and make the picture even sharper and tweak some of the color settings to get the picture really to your liking. Now combat is typical third person cover shooter, so if you're used to a first person, the action will feel a bit slower to you, but that gives you some time to think tactically. Now there are some additional skills to set this apart from other third person shooters, but we really don't get access to that part of the game, just a taste we know with the healing and the radar buffs. So there will be more to combat when the full game releases. This is also good. The most common complaint coming out of the alpha were the enemies were too bullet spongy. If you are even level with the enemies that you face at a higher difficulty, it does take a bit to drop the bad guys. You only really feel character growth when you walk around in the PvE areas where the lower level enemies spawn and you can really wreck them. Now, this plays into the RPG formula that is the Division. Now, at its core, it is a very RPG game, and a grindy one at that. This is where Destiny to Division comparisons come in. The loot you pick up is a random number generated just like in Destiny, so you can get good drops and you can get bad drops. Now I think the majority of the grind will come from people who take the time to embrace all of the RPG elements. Rebuilding your home base will give you more skills. To get the most out of those skills, go find gear that really pushes those stats. Now I saw a lot of people who really went after stamina gear and ended up with twice the health points of the guy who went after, just whatever gear he could pick up. Now once all these skills are available in the full game, and there's a lot of them, you can see the full, true RPG-like depth that this game really has. Add in the story and how it will be presented in unique ways with the cutscenes and the collectibles and the really cool ecosystem, and yeah, it seems like a winner. I even noticed how some of the scenery itself will play into the story, from dead bodies set in special ways to buildings and vehicles set up in certain ways also. Now squatting up with your friends is super easy, and using the fast travel system to get around the map to teammates other than the dark zone is really good. I even hit a connection error, reloaded the game, and it automatically squatted me up with the same group I had just been in. Add in proximity chat to see what other players need help, and you see there is some real tech behind this game. Now all of that is good. Now let's talk about the bad. Tom Clancy games focus on realism. That's what makes the world compelling. This is where the beta was really a beta. The first day I hit disconnects and errors, including the game just outright crashing on me, yeah, the old blue screen of death. I ran across textures that took a few seconds to load into the memory, and this particular bus did this to me repeatedly. I had an instance where getting stuck in a wall because I spun the camera and I guess created the error. Yeah, floating guns, they were there. Floating signs, yeah, this beta had them. The funniest errors I heard was one of my clanmates actually just fell right through the map. Manigator got repeatedly killed by another player who was completely invisible, which I did find funny. Mana caught that on video, so hit the link in this video or just check the description box for that link. All of that though seems like fixes that I trust that Massive the developer can iron out before the game launches. Now let's talk about the ugly. This game builds its Dark Zone area as a PvP area. I'm used to a somewhat balanced multiplayer experience, but this is really more of a free-for-all area where there are a lot of issues that we all saw. Now how this works is you can kill other players for an extra bonus. It's called going rogue. Many of us ran into instances of going rogue for literally doing nothing. Hey, if someone strafed in front of your line of fire, well now you're rogue. It's too easy to accidentally go rogue, not to mention it's super easy to troll people in the dark zone. As soon as you walk out of your safe room and you stretch your arms, 4 guys are sitting there shooting you. See one guy in an extraction and you have no loot to secure? Yeah, no problem. Pretend like you're friendly and shoot him in the back and take his loot for your own. Personally, I got into a good fight with some tough PvE enemies, and while my squad was wearing down the baddies, surprise, we got shot in the back by other players. So I would really build this as a PvP VEVP or something like that. Now once you go rogue, there are just too many ways to cash in also. Once you go rogue, simply run out of bounds in the red area and you get teleported to a safe house and can stand there till your rogue status goes away and you cash in. You can even be cheeky about it and hide in an alcove that's in bounds while everything around you is out of bounds. The most common trick I saw was to get a full team and just sit on a rooftop where there's only one ladder entrance. The other issue is to really get any action you have to go to the dark zone because the PvE enemies, they just don't respawn quickly enough. Makes walking around those areas really a snooze fest. There are a lot of suggestions that I've already seen from the Division community. Ideas like a 5-second invincibility shield when you enter the dark zone to stop those door campers, to increasing the rate at which PvE enemies spawn. There's even an issue with the beta where a level 7 player isn't allowed to play with a level 8 player in the dark zone. This system has a 1 through 7 have a server and 8 through 12 are on another server. I say have it being a rolling level difference where an 8 cannot play with a 1 but could play with a 2. Now that's just my thoughts on the matter. I still see way more positives in what I tried in the beta than negatives, so I'm going to keep my pre-order and hope that Massive can tweak some things. So what were your thoughts on the beta? By the way, it's still open and it's going to run for one more day and end on Tuesday. But what sort of things would you suggest? Well guys, if you like this type of content, just hit that like button or leave a comment, or if you just want to see some more, hit that subscribe button. But as always guys, have a good one.